The federal government, through the Ministry of Education, has announced the suspension of accreditation of degree certificates from Benin Republic and Togo. This development follows an investigative report where an undercover reporter bagged a university degree from Cotonou in 6 weeks at an affordable rate. In the course of the investigation, it was discovered that some Nigerians go through the same shoddy means to obtain a degree in these countries with an objective of getting graduate job opportunity for which they are not qualified for, according to the government. The suspension persists pending the outcome of an investigation involving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Education of Nigeria and the two countries, as well as the Department of State Security Services and the National Youth Service Corps. Join us via Zoom from South Africa is the President, National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora, Abdulrazak Abubakar, and here in our Lagos studio is the President, National Association of Nigerian Students in Benin Republic, Iken Favor. Many thanks for having you on the program this morning. Are you worried about this particular trend in the country at the moment about fake certificates for someone that you're supposed to go to school, get yourself involved in the academic process for 4 or 5 years, and you're getting that certificate in less than 6 weeks? What do you make of this development?
Honestly, I'm worried about it, and like I said, every student in Benin Republic is actually worried about it.
You're worried about this development?
Honestly.
What part of this is getting you worried?
Because the scandal of the thing, getting the certificates within the space of 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's kind of like tarnishing the students in Benin Republic, that maybe we are not getting, maybe there's no legitimate Nigerian students or no legitimate institution in Benin Republic.
So, okay, what level are you in school now?
No, I'm in my final year.
Your final year. So you've been there for 4 years? Or...
No, I've been there for a couple of 2 or 3 years now.
Okay, so have you ever seen this kind of thing happen?
I haven't, sir.
You haven't, or you just close your eyes and...
I haven't come across it before.
At all?
Or you've had such event and you kept quiet?
I haven't, if I can be honest. I don't know if it has been going underground, but I don't know about it, to be honest.
So what does this now say about the educational system in Benin Republic?
All right, you say what?
What does this say about the educational system
in Benin Republic?
In Benin and other African countries too?
Okay, can I be able to understand your question?
Okay, what does this revelation now? The guy came out and said he did not even go to the school, but got the certificate at home in
through an
6
agent.
weeks. Through an aide, through, you know. So what does this say about the level of education in these African countries that are closer to us?
All right, based on this report that has actually come up, and it's actually tarnishing the image of students and institution in Benin Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's quickly go to our guest who's on the Zoom, the South African president of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora, Abdulrazak Abubakar. What can you say about this act? Do you call it a criminal act at this time for someone who did not go to the 4 walls of the school and also having that certificate that a lot of Nigerians are indeed worked for 4 to 5 years? What do you make of this one?
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the show. Firstly, I want to say that we affirm our alignment with the federal government decision to suspend certification from Benin Republic, Uganda, Kenya, and Togo, because it's totally unfair for students who have actually gone through the 4 walls of studies. For 4 years, 5 years to obtain a degree, and you find out that people come to this country and get a degree in 2 months. It's totally unfair, and I feel such students who partake in such acts should be prosecuted and should face the law. Nobody should be exempted. I firstly want to thank the journalists who actually uncovered this unusual act. is actually condemnable from our side, from NANS diaspora, and any student who is found wanting or any student who has who is implicated in this indictment also should be prosecuted, and such certificates should be reviewed, if possible. If they have been certified previously, should be withdrawn. So I think the students who have really studied should be exempted and should be pardoned. Not all universities in Benin Republic, not all universities in Togo, not all universities in Uganda participate in such act. It's just few of a kind. So I think it's the federal government decision to investigate those universities and fish them out. But not all. If you look at in Benin Republic, for example, the major the population workforce of Benin Republic, most of them studied in universities in Benin. The vast majority of people in Benin Republic studied in good universities in Benin as well. So I don't want us to stigmatize or to put a stigma to the country or to the universities in Benin that no, universities in Benin have this problem, universities in Togo have this problem. It's just specific universities that the government must fish out. When they fish out those universities, every student who have gone through those universities also, their certificate should be reviewed thoroughly. Why the ones who has truly studied? I think the government should quicken this investigation so that they will not be affected in any way.
So there have been this discussion about mushroom universities in some of these countries, and it has been going on for quite a long time, where many people come out and say they got to this university and realize that it's just maybe 3-bedroom flats, so to say. But looking at all of this now, how do you expect the government to investigate when this matter has come up? You are saying it is wrong for the government to give a blanket policy on this issue, but how do you expect the government to investigate this matter when there have been issues regarding universities in these countries for quite a long time?
Okay, I think the blankets or the suspension is a short-term measure in order for them to achieve the long-term goal. This scenario has happened before, also in Malaysia. I think during the time of President Goodluck Jonathan, the same measures at which they use to fish out these predators universities is the same thing they should do. Fine, we understand that the temporary suspension is for them to do their expeditious investigation. But what we are asking for is a quality, expeditious investigation in order for it not to affect those students who have truly studied. Because now you have suspended totally. What about the ones who have truly gone through the workforce of studies? The problem I have with this is you find parents in Nigeria, civil servants, who earn below minimum wages or minimum wage in Nigeria, send their children to school, right? Now they have graduated, spend 4 years at the varsity to graduate. And now you find somebody going there to get the degree for 2 months, come back in the same Nigeria, is now part of the labor force, now become competitive with those people who actually went to the 4 walls of studies through the universities. So it's totally unfair. So what we are asking is we want a quality, expeditious investigation.
Okay, so before we let him go, sorry. If you say it's totally unfair, who do we blame for all of this? Do we blame the government of Cotonou, or do we blame the education ministry in Cotonou, or that in Nigeria, or NYC? Who do we blame in all of this?
No, the Nigerian government has done absolutely nothing wrong. They've done well, and they've taken the measures that every government should take. I think the government of Republic of Benin, they have a lot to do on their parts. So it's not my duty to comment on what they will do with their educational system. But I like the stand that the Nigerian government has taken. You don't bring any kind of certificates to our country and expect it to be certified. So our government has done the right thing. All we are asking as NANS is for expeditious investigation. But any student who is found wanted, it means you are also part of it. You are promoting such acts. So we are asking that such students also should be prosecuted along with this, the said universities. It's not all the universities, like I've said. They should fish out the predators universities. It happens everywhere in the world, even in the US, everywhere in the world. We have predators universities, but it's not left for the government to fish out these universities. That's just what we're after.
Well, let me quickly come in here at the moment. Mr. Abubakar, well, is this the first time you are hearing about this certificate racketeering, because you are the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora. Is that the first time you are hearing this particular certificate racketeering in that part of the country?
Okay, the thing is, we don't deal with rumors. We are in the era of it's the fourth industrial revolution, where everybody have access to technology and social medias. We hear a lot of these things, but nobody has actually taken an action in this regard. That is why I'm thanking the journalist who has taken his time to investigate and give us a fact, something to work on. So this is actually the first time I'm seeing like a confirmation of such acts. But we have heard a lot in the past. We have heard a lot, not only from Benin, not only from Uganda, or it happens everywhere in the world. Like I said, even in Malaysia, it happened. The same measures our government has taken before to solve the Malaysia issue is the same measure we are expecting them to also take to solve this particular problem, while thanking them for the actions they've taken so far.
Studio at the moment, we had an interview with this young guy during the week, and he gave us some revelation about this development. If my producer can just quickly play that short clip of this undercover journalist and what he said about the Ministry of Education and what is going on in Benin Republic and Togo. Take a listen to this development.
To be honest with you, this thing is very rampant. When I went to the camp before I was cleared, I saw a lot of graduates from Benin and Togo. We are having issues to get mobilized. It wasn't like every other person who graduated legitimately. It was very easy because all your documents, ordinarily when you pass through the system as you are supposed to, you have all your documents, all your valid documents ready, and they just screen you and go. But people from Benin and Togo, it was problematic for them. And that's to tell you how rigid the NYC process is. But I think the major flaws is in the Ministry of Education, and until this minister who has shown zeal and commitment to clean up the system, until he's able to do that, the problem will persist.
What do you make of this? That's the revelation the young guy gave there about the institutions in Benin Republic and Togo.
Okay. I think the government, I commend and applaud the government of taking the necessary step to fish out the people who are involved. Like he said, those who are involved or mobilized in NYC. So the thing there is there is still work for the government, especially that of Benin Ministry of Education, to see where they can be able to work and stuff like that. Right.
But you have called for his arrest.
Okay.
Why are you saying that at this time in your capacity as the NANS Benin Republic?
The reason why I cleared this on AIT, the reason why I called for his arrest is not because he should be arrested and imprisoned, all right, but he should be arrested to work closely with the force agencies like the DSS and police to investigate. Like, for example, he said he contacted an agent, right? So he needs to provide those agents, and he needs to work closely with the government to fish out the culprits who are involved into the scandals.
That doesn't mean he should be arrested. Because he had already also said that he's been working with security agencies on this matter, that they've all, for instance, he mentioned the DSS, and they've called him for an interview as well. So doesn't mean they need to arrest him. Doesn't mean so. Okay,
that was the reason why I meant that he should be arrested. Maybe not using the right word.
Maybe he didn't use the right
word at that time, because that was my first time on the live TV, so which I guess I was.
Because we spoke to one of the officials in the NYC, and he said, well, they're even thanking him that he gave them this revelation about what is happening in these countries. So for you now to come out outrightly and saying that the guy should be arrested, it's something that is, for me, a bit appalling, because he gave Nigerians the revelation of what is happening in these institutions. But the decision of the government is suspension of all the certificates in the schools. What's your take on that?
Okay. My take on that is to applaud the government. He has reviewed the necessary people. These are things that have been going on in Benin Republic. All right, so to fish out that, okay, you can be able to get certificate within the space of 4 weeks, or if you have your finance, you can get certificate. But that is a good work, and honestly, it's a good work from the reporter. So, but on this aspect, I want the government, I appeal to the government to look into this issue to make sure that those who are involved into these scandals to be brought to book.
Why did you leave Nigerian institutions to study in Benin Republic?
First of all, it's based on my choice.
What choice?
My choice to school. All right, and on that aspect, we know about the educational system in Nigeria, and the aspect of the strike, the ASU strike, and all of that. So these are the reasons why I could be able to move to Benin Republic to further my education. And again, it also exposed me to learn another different language. It's learning a French, and also it will add to my personality. All right.
Okay, so how interesting, or tell us how it is, the experience you've gotten so far schooling in Benin Republic.
Honestly, schooling in Benin Republic has exposed me to a lot of things: their culture, their educational system, learning different things. So I really enjoyed, and I've really been enjoying schooling in Benin Republic for that's why, honestly. Yes.
Are you sure you also made all your papers before leaving the shores of Nigeria to travel to Benin Republic?
Definitely.
Certificate? Are you sure?
Yes, definitely, and I wish I can attest to it.
WAEC or GC?
I made my papers, WAEC, one sitting.
What about JAM?
Yeah, I wrote JAM. That was 2-3 times before getting admission into.
So you got discouraged or what?
Yeah, I got discouraged because of the educational system in Nigeria.
Okay, so now walk us through the admission process. How did you get admission, and how did you go about solidifying it to start your classes?
Now, before getting admission into that of Benin Republic, every institution in Benin Republic has their own means of giving admission to students. All right. So, but first of all, you have to apply online, or you apply physically. You go to the school, so you get the necessary documents. For example, now one of the documents needed is your international passport, your WAEC result, your WAEC certificate or result, which you must definitely get 6 credits, and other documents required by the school.
So how much do you pay per session in the schools?
Yeah, I paid I'm not okay. I paid 250,000
Naira.
Yeah, in Naira.
In Naira.
Yeah.
Per year?
Yeah, per year.
I don't think that is a bit costly to what you can get from federal institutions in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's my choice. So I can afford it. So that is why. So there are students who actually goes to US, to Nigerian students who actually move to US to study. So they could be able to afford it, and that is the reason why they moved. So you know the educational system in these countries, or the European part, is expensive, if we could be honest, and that of the exchange rate in dollar and naira. So they could be able to afford it. That's why they moved there.
Are you not worried about the level of young graduates graduating from foreign institutions that they cannot be able to defend their certificates? Even in Nigeria, we still have some of them. Are you not worried about this trend?
Definitely, I'm worried about it, because it all depends on the way they'd be able to gain admission and how they were not serious about their education. So yeah, honestly, and the way they got their certificate, because we don't know who and the way they follow to get their certificate. So these are the reasons. I'm worried about it. I'm definitely worried about it.
Let's come to Mr. Abubakar, who is joining us via Zoom in South Africa. What do you say to young Nigerians who are desperate at all costs in getting certificates, either foreign or local? What do you make out about this development, and some of them that are not able to even defend the certificates?
The issue of getting a certificate is, like the previous speaker just said, is a choice. Your choice of where you want to obtain your degree or your certificate from. He was talking about affordability. I think the process of getting admission in Nigeria is more tedious than most part of the world, Like over here in South Africa, you have your WAEC, which is your matric. You get straight admission to the university, but on the condition that you have really studied. It's not, you don't buy certificates. You earn whatever you get, and that's what gives you admission. So that is the difference. So I urge any of them who wants to study abroad or think of studying abroad to do comprehensive research. Before you leave Nigeria, you want to study anywhere. Do a comprehensive research. I'll give you a practical example. Before I applied for my master's, I saw a school in the United States. It's called Athletic International University or so, somewhere in the US. And when I read properly, the process of getting the admission was so easy. And I'm asking myself, what kind of master's am I going to do with just a first degree without an honors degree? So it didn't make sense to me. Then I did more research, and there was a disclaimer there. It says this school is only accredited in the states where we are operating, not on the federal level. That automatically was a red flag for me. So when I saw it, I'm like, no, I can't invest in such a university just to get a cheap master's degree. And you find that there are a lot of people going there to get a PhD, even with the disclaimer saying that this thing is not accredited on the federal level. So I think people should do comprehensive research. That was a red flag, and that was why I didn't go there. Instead, I decided to remain where I was, went through the process to make sure whatever I'm earning, whatever certificate I'm getting is being earned. So I urge every student who wants to study also abroad, if you feel that no, you don't want to study in Nigeria, that the process is too tedious, or you aspire for something better, you want to get more exposure, which is one of the reasons I traveled out, because I want to get more exposure. Then do a comprehensive research before thinking of traveling or going anywhere to obtain a degree or get a certificate. But abstain from anything that is not quality, because at the end of the day, you yourself applying for the admission, you know this is not worth it. Let's be very sincere with ourselves. You know it's not worth it, so why are you applying for it? Why are you going for it? So I think people should do comprehensive research and not deceive themselves or themselves. That's because you already know what you're applying for. So that is my advice for them. And any student that is found or that is involved in certificate racketeering, we still maintain our stand that those students should be brought to court, and those students should face the full course of the law, just as the Minister of Education has stated earlier.
Okay, so Abdulrazak, you had mentioned earlier that you like the stance of the government, but the government shouldn't just throw a blanket policy on everyone, because there are people who are legitimate students of these schools. Now, is your body planning, or are you liaising with the government to further this investigation?
Yeah, our sister association, NANS in Nigeria, we've written to the Minister of Education to cooperate with us in the process of this investigation process, to seek also our assistance to carry us along. And one thing I know for sure is the government has gone through this process before. Like I gave you a reference of what happened in Malaysia. So I think also they should also go through that process that they've used before to fish out those specific universities. Because it's not proper from my side to say that all the universities in Uganda are involved in certificate racketeering, or all the universities in Kenya or in the Republic. The majority of their workforce, even they have central intelligence agencies in their university. You don't want to hire a mediocre to go and to head your central intelligence. Most of those people in their big organizations also studied in that country, which means they are legitimate universities also in those countries. So my point is, let the government fish out only those institutions, or I call them predators institutions, that are involved in certificate racketeering. And let's not stigmatize or put a stigma to all, because let's look at the psychological impact now on the students who have actually studied in Benin Republic. They have obtained their degrees already. Now, what confidence level do you have? What confidence do you have to say, I studied in Benin? Because now there's a stigma attached to it. So that's a stigma I don't want the government, or I want to be removed. Let's just focus on the specific universities that are involved. let's not stigmatize. Let's not use stigma to rob all other people. There are psychological effects attached to this. We don't want to hear tomorrow that a student has committed suicide because of the policy that the government has implemented and all those stuff. We don't want that. So that's why we are appealing to the government. Look at this part.
Okay, well, the government is also listening to you at the moment, and investigation is on to get to the real veracity of this matter. But let me come to you, Ikenna.
Okay.
When this news broke, I spoke to some people who schooled in Benin Republic, and some of the revelations they gave me is that this is not the first time this thing has been happening. But you are here saying you are not aware about this development. But if a federal institution in Nigeria is asking young Nigerians to pay 250,000 naira per year, you will be first set of young people to go on the street with a placard saying,
go on X.
Oh, this is not encouraging. And you're out there paying that amount of money?
All right. It's like I said, it's my choice, and I'm capable of financing the educational, the education I'm actually going through. So on that aspect, I have the capacity to do that, or my guidance. All right. So that is why I can be able to afford it. So that's why I'm going for it.
But he's not talking about your capacity to afford it or not.
Okay.
He's talking about if being unpatriotic, because if it were a Nigerian university, this will really trend. And many people abroad will say the same thing, that it happens everywhere. But now it's happening in Togo and Benin Republic, and we're all here talking and trying to, trying to support them against what the federal government is doing.
No, the thing is, like, this is a global phenomenon. It happens everywhere.
Where has it happened?
It also happened. It has happened in different countries.
That you know.
For example,
where has it happened that you know?
Okay, now our president is being accused that.
No. We don't want you to bring in the.
Don't bring that up here.
We don't want you to bring.
Where has it happened that you know? That matter you're talking has been settled in court. Even some people have gone to the same school and said he attended the school. But for you, where do you know that this has happened?
Okay, on that aspect, I don't know where it has happened. So me, I don't really have much idea about where this. The ones who say on the social media, maybe most of them are propagandas. All right, trying to say, okay, you can get certificate from here, again get certificate from here with your money without even going to the school. So there was a time that this thing was live. It happened at LASSO. I don't know if you are aware of that, but it happened at LASSO, Lagos State University. The vice chancellor was called and he said he doesn't have idea that this thing happened. You are aware about that. So that is just it.
So what's your appeal to the federal government?
No, my appeal,
before we let you go.
My appeal to the federal government that please, they should consider the legitimate Nigerian students who are studying in Benin Republic. Okay. Then they should take off the suspension and lift up the suspension. So that is the appeal, because I'm speaking on behalf. There are students who have graduated.
Genuine students.
Yes, who are to be mobilized into the NYC. But due to this suspension, they can't be mobilized. Right? So I urge an appeal to the federal government that please, they should lift up the suspension.
That will be done after the investigation. Well, yes. Your final take on the program this morning, Mr. Abubakar. What's your appeal to the federal government? Just in 30 seconds.
What we are appealing, we have commended the federal government for what they've done, but what we are appealing for is that we want a quality, expeditious investigation process, just to curb the ripple effect it will have on the legitimate students who have actually gone through the forward of studies. But if I may also comment on the issue of the fees increasing in people studying in Nigeria, and we complain about the fees as increased or not increased. Firstly, I'm on scholarship. If I have my means or all the way, I would have studied in Nigeria. But let's also understand how frustrating it can be.
That's how far we can. That's how far we can go. President, National Association of Nigerian Students in Diaspora, Abubakar Abdulrazak. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. I'm back to you in the studio with President, National Association of Nigerian Students in Benin Republic. It came that favor. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
On the show this morning.
I really do appreciate it.
Well, very interesting. They're having two presidents on the show. this morning. So we spoke to Nigerians on their expectations from the